So I have a story that I want to open up the podcast with.
Okay.
I love doing these because as I tell them, and even as I listen back to them, is for me, it's like I made this shit up, but I didn't.
But you didn't.
This is
real
real.
life.
This is legit. I guess it just happens to me because I'm always put in these situations because I just spend so much time with people and not just with people like every day, as far as the same people every single day.
Right.
Like most people spend a lot of time with people, but it's the same people.
The same
every single
people,
day.
yeah.
Right. I'm spending time
With a lot of random people.
In their homes. And there's something about being in people's homes where you enter their world.
Yeah.
And when you enter their world, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Right. So I had a new patient today. He's 93 years old, older white guy, clearly confused, but I don't think that this was just his confusion, like his dementia. I think this is just how the world works, right? So I walk in his home and he starts talking to me, and one of the first things he says to me is, "So you flew in, huh?" And I go, I'm thinking, yeah, sure. I'm just playing along like, yeah, I flew in on my Toyota Tacoma, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, what are you doing here? I said, I'm with physical therapy. I'm here to work with you. And I told him my name. And he's like, oh, wow, physical therapy. He was like, man, a lot's changed, huh? What?
What do you mean?
Oh, I thought I got paranoid. I thought you heard the baby for a second.
I think I know where you're going.
He's like, a lot's changed. And I go, no, still, still here, still doing it. But you're ready to work. And so we kind of get past that little part, and I'm working with them. And as I'm asking questions, just generic questions, just to try to get to know someone, I'm looking around the room, to kind of, because there's pictures on the wall.
He's by himself?
He's with his wife.
Okay.
He's with his wife is 90 years old. He's 93. So I'm looking around the room and I see pictures of his children and his grandchildren. And one of his grandchildren is a mixed child.
Oh.
And it's like my complexion. And by grandchild, I mean, he's an adult.
Mm-hmm.
He's an adult.
Obviously.
And so
he thought you were his grandkid?
Yeah, I put two and two together and I go, this joker thinks all black people look alike so much that I'm his grandkid to him. And so when he was saying flew in, he must be from
wherever he's from.
State.
Yeah.
Right. And he was asking me, what am I here for? Probably just whatever. And then he's like, oh, physical therapy. And he's like, oh,
Oh.
So, but as soon as
But what about his wife?
Well, I don't think she knew what was happening. I think that I think she might have thought that he was just riffing, which is what I thought. He's, oh, you flew in, da 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 da.
I thought when you said times have changed or things have really changed, I was going to go in a whole different direction.
Oh, you mean like they let us out the house kind of thing? Like these house niggas are just allowed to go to other houses now?
They're professionals now? Yeah.
Imagine that. No. I'm assuming that he thought that I was his grandson because, again, grandson was about my complexion, and he had braids, but you can't see my braids because I always wear, surgeon's cap anyway.
Right.
Or like a little decorated nurse's cap or whatever. So he couldn't see my hair, but
that is so cute.
He just saw a light-skinned black dude and he just assumed that I was his grandson. So, yeah, but it was one of those things where it's almost like something out of a movie, because as soon as because my eyes are just panning around the room and I see this picture, and it was almost like my brain just like zoomed in as if like this.
Yeah. Oh.
Here we are.
That's kind of cute.
It's
super racist, but really cute.
It is, but it's like, really? This is your own.
He gets a pass, though. He's 93.
He does get a pass. He's 93.
Yeah.
He's 93. But
you've had this happen with,
but it still tickles me because in my life, I get confused for every other black guy that someone knows.
Yeah.
Right. So here I am. Even though he's confused, I'm still being confused with his grandson. And I thought that was, it was hilarious. But in the moment, it was hilarious because it all made sense. Because again, I thought he was just riffing with me in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I didn't think anything of it. And then I was like, came full circle and it all made sense. Boom. So
you should have called him Granddad.
Granddad, right? Oh, that would have
been so good.
Can you imagine? I think I'm going to roll with that next time. Like if he gives me a hard time about doing, exercises with him. I go, come on, granddad, let's just, just keep
He'll
moving.
be like,
He's like, oh, yeah, let's do it.
oh, that's cute.
Unless he doesn't like him. You never know. He might not like
Yeah,
him. Oof. That'd be a bad day. I call him granddad and it's like,
Granddad.
oh, hell no. I never wanted you around anyway. Oh,
Imagine.
can you imagine? Oh, gosh. That's crazy. That's crazy. But here we are. We're here, folks. We're a little late. But what do you expect from a Black and a Puerto Rican? But it's not our fault. It is our fault, kind of, sort of. We have a tricky baby. We have a tricky baby.
Yeah, we have a 2-month-old. That's
Yeah.
what that's called.
Yeah. We, it feels like we play stocks with time.
For
right?
sure.
So yesterday we planned on recording, which would have had us release on Thursday and on time.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been late, but it would have been the day. So whatever. We would have felt good about just having a Thursday release. So we planned everything. We planned the naps and all this other stuff. And we were under the impression that we put her down at a certain time and she was going to wake up in 2 or 3 hours. We were going to feed her, go back to sleep. And then we were going to have another 3-hour window to do whatever it is that we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
She decided to take a long, hard sleep. It wasn't a nap. It was actual sleep, which is nice, but it would have been nice if that would have occurred at a time that would have been more, you know.
Or we knew that was going to happen then.
Right.
Yeah.
So we couldn't have benefited from it. So we played this game of, okay, well,
if we start now,
and it's like, no, she's going to be up and it's going to interrupt it. So let's not do it. Let's just wait a little bit. And an hour later went by. Still sleeping. I was like, well, it's really no point now because she's really going to wake up. It's going to happen. And it never happened. It never happened. No. So we made it all the way from 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like 6:30, 7 o'clock to midnight.
Yeah, almost midnight.
Before she woke up.
Mm-hmm.
And it toasted all the plans. All the plans. So here we are today trying to make it work. But
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens. So anyone out there that understands what it's like, having not a child, because when children are a little bit older, then it's easy. You just give them an iPad, you do whatever you need to do.
Right.
Television show.
Or bedtime is bedtime.
Bedtime is bedtime. Right. But when you have a baby that doesn't follow any rules.
No, it's
completely
her
unpredictable. Yeah. Then here we are. But I still say it's our fault because we procrastinated and we dragged it out. But it's still life that we're dealing with. But we're back for another episode of the podcast where we saying shit, but we ain't saying shit. As always, I go by the name Nathan Mitchell.
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to be looking that way.
And this is the lovely Cristina. Hey. She doesn't know where to look, but it's all right. Yeah. But before we cut the mics on, we were talking about Netflix. And we would like to give a shout out to Netflix for punking out.
We need more sounds.
Oh. I'll add the fart noise. Yes. For completely shitting the bed. Netflix came out with a confidence statement, at least it appeared to be a confidence statement.
Like a few days ago.
It was a few days ago. It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we're finally cracking down on you people.
Even yesterday,
because
our concept of time is fucked.
We have no clue. We have no clue what day, what time it is.
Yeah.
I thought today was Saturday for a little bit, but it's Friday. So there's that. But yes. They came out with a statement saying that we're no longer going to allow people to share accounts. We're going to stop it because enough's enough. We're losing money, and this is just getting ridiculous. And for anyone out there that has Netflix, you know what? I wonder what percentage of people that have Netflix actually have their own account. What does that look like? Or
you're right. No, because I was going to say the same thing, but kind of backwards. So go ahead.
So, what does that look like?
Because I pay for an account, but then I have people on my account who don't pay for
it. So you
would
would be in that small, I would imagine a smaller percentage of people that actually pay for your account. And then you have 2 other people that share your account.
Well, yeah.
So based on that, it's almost safe to assume, at least in your world, 1/3 of the people that have Netflix accounts actually have an account that they own outright. And then everyone else is just kind of, the 2/3 are just mooching, for lack of better words.
Right.
But Netflix said they found out a way to crack down on it and we're going to stop this. And they just released a statement today saying, hey,
That
we
was
had
that was an error.
that was an error. We had a lot of
Wow.
people cancel us, and we don't want you to cancel us. So
Yeah.
no,
We
we're not
don't know
going to do
what
that. We're not
happened,
going to do
but
that. We
yeah.
don't know how that message got out.
An error.
What pussies?
At least own it and be like, you
Own
know
it.
what? It's not what we expected to happen. We
Right.
take it back, which is still terrible to
Or
do.
believe in your product
But
and
that's what I'm saying.
go. Hey,
But if you're gonna go back, don't say it was an error.
That is. But shout out to the people. Shout out to the people that
The scammers
that held it
of
down.
America.
Right. And that held it down. And they said no.
This is the shit that we
gonna do
band
it.
together.
Right.
And make happen. Isn't that fucking
This
hilarious?
is crazy. Right.
What the hell?
But Netflix, what? You know what? I really wonder what it's going to look like on Monday when the stock market opens. Like, what's going to happen? Because that's Netflix. A pretty bad move.
Jesus.
To look that soft.
That's
to make a
really
statement.
Bad.
Right. And make it appear that you're going to.
Like, own it. And you're telling me they didn't anticipate people canceling like that?
That just goes to show they don't believe in the product.
Obviously.
Because if you believed in your product, then you will go, hey, look, all these people have us, and they're using us for a reason, by hook or by crook, right? They're using us for a reason. They're gonna come back and they're gonna use us.
You're gonna have to ride that wave.
You're gonna ride it out because
what
they can afford it more than likely.
Yes.
And yes, there's gonna be a dip. There's gonna be a dip, but then we follow this up with a banger. It's we're gonna follow this up with a blockbuster hit. Yep. Everyone's gonna want to watch it. Matter of fact,
they should have had it all lined up.
Watch this. I think they have a live comedy show coming. I think Chris Rock is doing something live on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
I think something's happening big. I want to say it's Chris Rock. I could be wrong, but I want to say it's Netflix. I could be wrong. But it's going to be the first of its kind where you are going to be able to watch a comedy special live. And,
See, like this would have been the perfect time. They should have had all these things lined up, making people want to pay for it.
Right, because people are not going to want to miss out.
Of course.
Especially if you're a fan of comedy or just in general. Even if you are surrounded by people that like comedy. It's that FOMO effect. Right. And now you're talking about something that's live, so you get to really interact with people, whether it be on Twitter or you get to go into work the next day and talk about it because everyone's going to sit down and watch this thing.
And Netflix is one of those things where it's just like, when you have it, you're like, why the fuck do I have this? But then when you don't have it, I end up going back to it all the time. You know how many times I have like paid for it, canceled it, gone back, paid for it, used somebody else's. Like I always find myself going back to Netflix.
Because why not?
Yeah, because it always ends up being something that I want to watch on there. Always.
So yes, there might have been a dip.
Yeah.
But then it came back up. Yeah. But they tucked their tail and they...
awfully. Saying it's an error.
Yeah. So shout out to the people. The revolution is real. The revolution is real. Real. So today's main topic is going to be, I don't want to say me debating with a post that I read, but just me kind of challenging a post that I read. And this is from someone that I follow on Instagram. And I typically like the things that they post. Okay. And it's not that I dislike this one. I don't think that she's wrong, but I think that they're just might be a little bit
from a different
Yeah. I'm coming at it from a different, the perspective of a male, right? And
so it's a woman.
This is a woman,
okay,
right? And so when I read this, my knee-jerk reaction was, okay, yeah, I can see where she's coming from, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But then as I sat with it for a little bit, I go, I think that the blame, where she's placing the blame, can still be the same, but I feel that there's a whole another piece to it, that doesn't necessarily discredit her part, but just makes it go, okay, well, this is a little bit more complicated than what you think, right? But before we get into that, I want you to talk about insert that you're okay. Just breathe.
Is this because if you prepare me mentally,
I didn't prepare for this podcast.
I would be fine.
This is all firing from the hip. I promise you. So I want you to briefly talk about that new app that you had us download.
Oh,
where
yes.
I'm happy. I could talk about that.
It was very exciting.
See, I wouldn't set you up for failure. You should trust me more.
I do trust you, babe.
The app is called Paired, right?
Yes, like a couple.
Right. Paired like a couple. And this app is expensive.
Yeah. I was like, where are you going?
It is expensive, but it does have a 7-day free trial. And I'm sure,
I mean, I guess it is expensive.
It's expensive for someone that never cared about it. So I
Okay.
guess that's what it is. I would never say anything is expensive that I give a shit about. Because I would spend money on dumb shit all day long.
Yeah.
But because I like it. But if I don't like it,
Yeah.
then it's expensive.
It's valuable to you.
Even if it was, see, there it is.
What?
There it is. It's the value thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Even if it's not really expensive.
Right.
But for an app, I think that is, it's $79.99 for
a year.
A year of a not dating, but a couples app.
But the more I go through it and like look at it, the content is very good.
No.
And there's a lot of stuff on there that's pretty.
I see the
well
value in
done
it.
app.
I see the value in it for sure.
And if people participate and answer the questions in a timely manner, it would be way more effective.
This app is going to annoy the shit out of most men. I'm just telling you this right now. It's going to annoy the shit out of you. It's going to make your woman happy.
I love it. I get so
which
excited.
Could be worth every penny, because if you just do this one little thing,
once a day,
then if you do this one little thing once a day, then
just answer some questions. Yeah. But then the thing is that those questions you're going to answer, and then they're going to bring up more questions, which happened yesterday.
Which is annoying as fuck, especially if you're someone like myself.
You hate questions. You're a fucking Scorpio.
Like
it's so
questions. Annoying. So then instead of me saying shut the fuck up, then I try to get like tongue in cheek with him, because I figure if I can annoy her with my answers, then she'll stop asking me the question. She doesn't.
No,
she doesn't. She doesn't stop answering the
because
questions, or asking the questions.
So I saw it on Instagram.
Shout out to Instagram.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, what is this about? And so I downloaded it, and I told you to download it, and it's really, really cool. Oh, I like it. So there's different categories and different sets of questions. And so every day there's a new question, like a question of the day. And then there's like a theme for the week. This week's highlights, for example, like one of the series of questions is cheating boundaries. So you answer the questions. Is this the one where it's both perspectives? I think it is. So you answer the question from your perspective, right? Like what you think.
Which, I'll be honest with you, this one was a little bit more complicated because I didn't understand what it was asking of me. So
this one you didn't complete.
Right. Well, because I got confused, so I put it down.
And you know what? I take it back. That is a bad example. That's not one from another perspective. That's just your perspective. That's it. There's games. I said that wrong. So there's games. And so this one is, for example, how open are you? So it asks you like 5 or 6 questions that you answer from your own perspective, and then you have to answer them again, assuming from your partner's perspective, how you think they're going to answer.
Right.
Then you do the same, and then there's the results, like who actually guessed their partner's answers correctly.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even fucking know who you are.
Right. Well, so the one you did today, and we'll get back to it, but the one that was today with the whole physical cheating thing,
yes,
that one wasn't asking
this
that,
wasn't
because that
game.
one was more complicated.
This
right. That
game.
one had to, it was writing, and it was just
so the games are set up like that. And we did relationship trends was a game, and so an example of a question of a game was like, this one was funny because I was like, no way. Okay, so the question is the trend: TikTok couple dance challenges. Would your partner do it? And I was like, no, he would never do a TikTok dance. And then you said you 100% would.
Yeah. So before we get into that, because I don't want to lose the people on what this app does. The intention of this app is to get you and your significant other to have conversations
about all topics,
about all the things. So what they do is that they throw out these engaging things This particular one was a game.
Right.
And
They have different things.
And
right.
the game asks you 5 random ass questions.
Right.
And then you answer how you want to answer it. And you try to answer how your significant other answers it.
Right.
And then they do the same thing. And then there's a winner and a loser.
Correct.
So that's the incentive behind maybe if you have some sort of competitive spirit,
Right.
then now you get to see who knows the other one better. Right. But then they also have it where they ask a little bit more complicated things where you have to freely type about something.
So those are the games. And then they have something called question pack. And then a question pack is a bit more serious. And this question pack was cheating boundaries. So it's a series of questions about cheating and what you think, what constitutes physical cheating, what constitutes emotional cheating. And that's you answer it for yourself and then you answer it for yourself, your partner does. And then based on your answers, you can have discussions about it.
Right.
Like what you think physical cheating is might be different than what I think it is. And then that's supposed to spark
up conversations. Right. So this is really perfect for people out there that find themselves in positions where you want to have conversations with your significant other.
Right.
But you might not know where to start. And so this kind of gets you in a place where to start, or even if you might know how to start something, but you're just trying to get the other person engaged because they aren't too receptive with communication. So it's all about communicating.
And then I have like weekly check-in questions. So it says, or even monthly.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to answer honestly, obviously, because then it defeats the whole purpose. But it'll ask you like, how do you feel about the amount of sex you had last month? And you're supposed to be honest about that. Or how do you feel about how you resolved conflict last month or whatever? And so it's valid questions.
Right.
And if you answer them honestly, obviously that should spark conversation and you can go from there.
And then you kind of get a gauge on how happy does someone feel in a relationship.
Right.
And the way they illustrate it is there's like a heart and there's 4 quarters to the heart. And each question has a quarter. So then after you answer and then your significant other answers, then you can see where they are and what areas that they weren't happy in, what areas that they were happy in, and then you can have a discussion. So that's where I say that I see the value in this app, because it definitely opens the floor for things that should be talked about. Right. But it might not be the easiest to get that going. And now you're doing it in a way kind of almost like what we were talking about in the episode. We were talking about how to talk about sex. If you're not comfortable with just
this had the perfect one. There's one about that too, like sexual fantasies, desires, and all of these things where it's like a set of questions just like that. Do you have a fantasy that you think about? If you were to role play, what would you do? Yeah. And it's like, I like it.
Yes, of course, women will love it. Men probably going to be annoyed by it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, hello.
It is what it is. You just got to do it to make them happy. And
no, it's for the better of the relationship. Oh my God. Here we go.
But like in the previous episode, one of the points that we were making is that if you have a harder time engaging a conversation about sex, then
initiating
interpersonal conversation. Then the best way to go about it would be to do text messaging. Right. So this could kind of be the way where you could text message, but it's kind of doing the work for you and then putting it in a game form to where, again, if you're into some sort of competition and now there's that. But where I find funny, and this is what I was trying to do today, but then I got hit with these complicated answers that I had to, write down.
That was more serious. That wasn't a game.
I didn't really care for that. If you're gonna give me, you gotta give me with the games.
But the games aren't the deep questions. Yeah. The games are more fun.
I know, but I logged into the game to have fun, and a part of the fun that I was gonna have was intentionally answer all of my questions wrong. Like not
from your perspective,
from my perspective, like not for me. That way I could keep on winning, knowing you better than you know me. Because if I answer them all just for the purpose, no, see, that's the problem. If you put winning and losing in there, people are gonna bend the system.
Men, not people.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was just like I was somewhere and they had a push-up challenge, like and the push-up challenge wasn't who can do the most amount of push-ups at once. It was who can progress from day 1 to day 30, who can make the most progression in the amount of push-ups that they could do. So, I'm going to say I could do 1 push-up on day 1. I'm not going to go bust out 70 push-ups on day 1. So then day 30, you see what I'm saying? So if it's about winning and losing, then, it is what it is. So, so I had it
I don't want to play the game if you're going to do that.
Well, this is how you get them off of the shit. You make it so annoying that they don't want to do it anymore. And then it's their idea. Hey, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I get it.
That's terrible. This is terrible advice. Awful.
Yeah, crook by the book. No, but it's an interesting app. I thought it was good. But it is funny because even though, and I did answer honest on the last round of questions, I didn't get to answer fucked up on any of the other questions because of I got hit with the seriousness today. But one of the things was, would you do a TikTok dance? Now she acts like she doesn't know who I am, and I will 100% get on camera and do a funny dance or whatever. It doesn't have to be serious, but do something with you. You don't do it, so you assume that I wouldn't do it.
You don't even know what TikTok is. That was my thing.
I know what TikTok is. TikTok. I know what TikTok is.
Your dad knows more about TikTok than you do.
Yeah. And I have a video of him doing dances.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah,
I believe that.
All day long.
Yeah.
All day long. But it does get
some
the
of that,
conversation going.
the results were funny. Yeah.
Yes. The more serious one, that one, ugh.
But those are good. Those are important.
So you know why my knee-jerk reaction was to get annoyed when I first saw it. Not actually annoyed, but it's like kind of thing, but not in a real way, is because we do this so much.
Yeah.
We don't need an app to talk about this.
Right.
So even when I see it, like I almost don't want to answer serious.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
well, I saw the one answer that you gave.
Yeah, because you already know what time it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then
even when I saw your response, I was like,
yeah, clearly he's being an asshole about it. Yeah, yeah. But yes and no. But only because we talk about everything. Right.
Well, okay. Then you don't have to do the cheating boundaries one, but there's another serious one that I do want you to answer. Oh, and I guess that's another point. Like if you expect your partner to answer honestly, some things could upset you.
Oh, yeah.
Or offend you.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to be prepared for that.
All day.
Like there's a quiz on hopefulness. And so let me show you one of the questions to give you an example is you're hopeful about the future of our relationship, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. So this is like you know what I'm saying?
If you answer honestly.
You want to tread lightly probably.
No, don't tread lightly. Open the floor. Open the floor. Have those uncomfortable conversations.
Right.
Because then if you say, "Nah, I'm not the most hopeful for it," I think there's
then
room
talk
for
about that.
Then you talk about it, and then you tell them how much their feet stink and you don't like the shit, and yada yada yada, and, and hopefully they make changes. They don't. It's never their fault. No, but have those uncomfortable conversations.
Right.
I think they're important.
Or I guess be ready for it, not tread lightly. Yeesh. Be ready for it.
Yeah, I wonder how many couples are gonna be in court and be like, so what? Where was the downfall in your relationship? Oh, this paired app.
Yeah.
$80 app.
Right. Exactly.
Cost me my relationship.
Yeah. It's
all
Instagram.
That good stuff. Yeah. But what can you do? Download it, people.
Well, I want to keep talking about it at different times when we do it more.
Oh, on the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. I was really hoping that when you saw how much it was per year, you would have been like, yeah.
Well, yeah, initially I was like, that's crazy. We both said it. And then yesterday I was like, I think I'm going to pay the $80.
I know. And then when you did it, I was like, I'm in this for another 365 days. Like, damn it. No. It's not terrible. Whatever keeps you happy, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Isn't that what they say?
Mm-hmm.
Happy wife, happy pseudo wife, or happy life.
Pseudo.
You didn't
I'd
like
rather
that.
you just call me something else.
What? Fiancés is too much.
Too much of what?
It's just too much. It sounds so, matter of fact. You know what I'm saying?
What does pseudo wife sound like? That sounds crazy.
No, it has a good ring to it.
No, it doesn't.
I think so.
It sounds terrible.
I think so.
I don't want to
It's
be
a good
anybody's
title.
pseudo anything.
It has like a little, like it's punchliney, so it kind of throws people off guard, and it goes, "Oh, okay, oh yeah, I have one of those."
Or just call me your girlfriend then.
Yeah, but that sounds real juvenile.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds
exactly.
real childish.
And so
Pseudo wife sounds, you know,
no, it doesn't.
like
sound.
you're almost there. You know what I'm saying? Like we're faking it till we make it. That's what it sounds like.
It sounds terrible.
To you, see, I look at the glass half full.
Mm-hmm.
See, you know,
Whatever.
and this is probably going to mess with your head, but I remember when I was editing the video for the podcast, every time the camera was panned onto you, you were taking a sip, and it looked like you had just a bottomless thing. But I couldn't avoid it because you just kept taking sip. So I hope that doesn't, you know, make you self-conscious.
No, I'm gonna continue to live my best life.
Yeah, good for you. Where are we? All right. So this one, what's the woman's name? Dang it. I don't know her name. I had it in here, but then I deleted it because her little thing popped up. Elizabeth something. I'll look it up and I'll post it. So I had her name, but I'll just post it in the comment section or the details section or whatever. So if you all want to follow her, she is a good follow because she does have some good dating relationship tips. And
you don't ever share pages with me that you follow that you like I do with you.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. What pages have you shared with me?
All of them.
No, all I get from you are monkeys jerking each other off.
Relationship. It's relationship. That's relationship. That's people helping people. Monkeys helping monkeys.
Or small people boxing and lifting weights.
Yep. That's a friendship. They're friends. You don't think they're friends. You think that they don't hang out with one another.
Or somebody doing a voiceover on a goat.
Yeah. Building relationships by way of making memes to share it to other people. Yep. You're welcome.
Okay.
So we done? We done? All right. So this woman starts off with this post, and I'm just going to kind of paraphrase through the post. But basically, it was saying that men don't commit to us because we drag commitment out of them with nagging, bringing it up consistently, or telling them about our expectations. As you start swiping through this post, it was talking about what men will actually commit to. And basically, if a man wants to commit, then he will commit with or without you saying things. More than likely, he'll do it without you saying things because he's going to realize that he can't live life without you and yada, yada, yada. And that if you're looking for someone to commit, then you should just let it happen naturally. And if that person doesn't commit to you, then maybe it's time for you to look at yourself if men are not committing to you.
So, okay. So if it's a repeated thing.
If it's a repeated thing.
Okay.
If it just happens, then and she did say it's quite possible that there was just something in you that they just couldn't get past. It was non-negotiable, whether it was talked about or not talked about. It'd be nice if it was talked about, that way someone knows.
Right.
But it was something that was just kind of a red flag for them, and they didn't want to commit.
Or maybe they just weren't ready.
Or they did say that maybe they have commitment issues of their own. But it appeared that this topic was kind of pointing the finger at the ladies. Okay. Now, when I read this initially, I go, okay, I can see where that could be an issue. If you put the pressure on someone, anyone that might have other things going on with them, doubt, fear of commitment, or fear of being with someone that's naggy, or, you know, whatever it may be, needy, then I can see a world where you might chase someone away, because there is that cat and mouse game that naturally gets played with men and women, where the males want to feel like that they are winning the prize, the woman's the prize, right? And that we're going after you and you're the trophy, and once we get you, make you ours, then we've achieved something. When you're nagging and you're begging for that commitment, then it could almost feel like the roles were reversed. Like, why is this prize not making me try to win this
Chase
prize?
it.
Why is
Yeah.
this prize begging for me to pick it up and show it off, kind of
Yeah.
thing? So I can see a world where that could be an issue. But as I was on dating apps years ago, and as I'm still in communication with people that are on dating apps, to include, people my age, people that are younger, I don't think that the lack of commitment has to do with the woman's actions while she has someone that's engaged in her. I think it has to do with women's actions in general and how pussy has basically been devalued
So women collectively, what we're doing as a whole.
collectively. Right.
Yeah.
So even though you might not be doing anything wrong, you're still being compared to all the women and what they're doing around you. And that would make it so having a male commit to you harder for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
And
sense
it
to
all
me.
has to do with what I think. It all has to do with just the value of pussy going down and being so easy to get, and or just, let me say, sex being easy to get, sex being something that doesn't require commitment anymore. The
Or
whole
much effort.
much effort at all,
Yeah.
right? The whole, why buy the cow when I can get the milk for free
Yeah.
kind of thing. So there was a time where males almost needed to be in a committed relationship in order to have sex, in order to get that aspect out of a woman. You see what I'm saying? So there was that incentive to get into a committed relationship. Not to say that that's all that males care about, but
No, but that's a big
that is a
deal.
big
Yeah.
deal. That is a big
Yeah.
bonus. That's going to keep us coming back. Is, hey, you're committing to me, and because you're committing to me, I know that I'm the only one that's having sex with you, and I'm less likely to go out and venture out and try to have sex with someone else or spread my seed somewhere else or whatever it may be, because I don't want to have to deal with the hassle of having to make them commit to me as well, because it's a process.
Right.
It takes time, it's work, and it's something that, most males don't want to do, right? But if you live in this world where it is now so readily available, whenever, however, and by however I mean whether you pay for it,
You just
because
get on
there's
an app.
there's so many different
and
avenues,
yeah.
right? There's apps for it. You could just write out, pay for it, right? You could, whether it be real or fake attention, like OnlyFans. I know that that's not sex, but to some
Sometimes it
people,
doesn't need to be that deep. Sometimes just the attention
just
part.
the attention, right? Having someone talk sweet to you, maybe say your name and touch themselves and things, whatever it may be, because it is just so, and I hate to say cheap, but because it's been cheapened as far as what the currency used to be,
Yeah.
right? The currency for sex used to be dedicated time and attention to someone. Now it could be as easy as just sending some money, boom,
Yeah.
and you're okay. That's a lot easier. It's easier to burn up that resource than it is to burn up time and attention and remembering things and putting in the work in order to get you to feel comfortable enough with laying down with us or spending time with us, even, right? Talking to us. So because of that, I think that it has put males in a situation where they are less desired, or they're desiring commitment less because it is not necessary. It's almost like if you if you let a kid, and not to say that males are kids, but when it comes to sex, we're kind of kid-like, right? That's our candy, right? if you let us pick what we want to eat for dinner, kids are going to pick Skittles and bubble gum or whatever to eat all day long. Like, we're not going to pick a good, hearty, healthy meal that's actually good for
for
us.
you. Yeah.
We're going to pick the thing that's going to give us the short-term gratification because it's easy, right? It's easy to
And
take
it's
down.
good. And
It's
it's
good.
delicious.
It's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Even though it might give us a tummy ache. Yeah, we might lay low for a little bit because we got a tummy ache, and we might want to go after something a little bit hearty. And by hearty, I mean you might, kind of zone in and appear that you might be going down the road of commitment. But then it's easy to go back off and get those donuts and cupcakes and cookies and things like that because it's more exciting, it's more fun. And now you ditch that for a little, ditch the healthier option for a little bit, and you might end up coming back. And then now you're in this realm where you might be playing a game with somebody.
Do you think age has anything to do with it, or men would feel this way at any age?
I think at any age. I think
Okay.
if we are given the option to have something without having to put in the time and effort for it, a lot of times we're going to take advantage of it. And I think it's safe
But
to
for
say
forever?
I
Or does that just depend on the man? Because then, okay, in the world we live in today, the moment of time we're in today, why would a man commit then if all of these options are available, all these other things are available? Why are men committing today if they are?
so just to be clear, I'm not speaking about all males.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, there are a healthy amount of males out there that are being, getting in committed relationships because it happens.
Right.
Right. But we do also see an abnormal amount of males that are not in committed relationships
Yeah.
in comparison to what it looked like back in the day, right? But with that, we're also seeing a lot of females that are not in committed relationships because it works both ways. It's not just it's all single males and then
Right.
women are in relationships. No. It's on both ends, and I don't know exactly, besides personality or besides the understanding of the value of having something deeper than just, one night stands or, here today, gone tomorrow
Yeah, I
type
guess that was
of
my question. Like,
things.
do some men at some point want that?
If they didn't want it, I would imagine maybe, and
Yeah.
maybe that coincides with the reduction of their libido. Maybe as their sex drive dwindles, maybe they will see more value in having a connection, with someone,
Yeah.
as opposed to just trying to chase and get the next hurrah kind of thing.
Because I don't know. I'm not a guy. Like, that doesn't get old.
Getting new women.
Yeah, I guess that sounds like a crazy question for a man, but it's like I would think at some point it's just like it seems so shallow. But I guess men don't really need deep. Most men, I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if you think about us on like a more biological level,
Yeah.
right? It wouldn't be. It hasn't been unusual for males to try to spread their seed out as far as they can spread it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily care about committing and being monogamous to one person, but only because your goal is to make sure that your genes pass on, right? So during the time where there wasn't DNA testing and it was mama baby, papa maybe kind of deal, it was in your best interest to spread your seed out, because at least out of some of these women, then one of them is going to carry your seed and pass it down and yada, yada, yada. So maybe there's something that has to do with that. But then it also has to do with the easier option. It's rougher being in a relationship for a guy. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of work that's involved as far as commitment, especially if the number one thing that's driving you is that prize, is sex, is feeling good, is having your ego stroked. Like there's a lot more hits of maybe dopamine, or a lot more hits of feeling like you've achieved something when you're out and about getting, what you want from different women versus getting it from one. And now there are going to be a good amount of people that I know and that we have all seen where you have this natural progression of you're in your teens, you're in your 20s, you play around, you have a good time, you're in your 30s, you decide to slow down, you settle, you get married, you have a family, boom. And now things work the way they're supposed to work. But even then, that's a little flimsy as far as how we've done things for so many years. That's still kind of a newer thing. That's not something that was in us, you know, 30, 40 years ago. You see what I'm saying? But you do still see those people that don't settle down, or if they do commit, it's for short periods of time. So it's really not a commitment. This is like a short-term kind of fixed thing. And so this article, when I read this, I felt like it was saying that, hey, this is on the woman, or this could be on the woman because of nagging and wanting commitment.
There's probably some truth to that.
But I think the flip of it is that it's because women aren't demanding commitment before giving out the prize, which is yourself.
Not that woman in particular that is asking for the commitment.
Not that one woman. It doesn't necessarily have to be that one woman, right?
Right.
But it could be because all the women around you are not doing it. So even if you're doing it and I'm not getting milk from you, it's very tantalizing to see that I have, you know, options out here that are going to give me what I want with less work. That's a no-brainer almost when you think about it. Unless you really want that one individual, then you hone in all that, you put all your eggs in one basket and you ignore all that. And then now you have that select few people that are in committed relationships because that exchange took place. But I think what we're seeing is, and it's clearly a problem because
if it's being talked about.
Because it's being talked about. And I don't know what the numbers look like. I really wish that we had more solid numbers that can show, okay, how out of all the people that are out there, how many people are in relationships? I mean, a quick, easy way to do it would be to think about the people that you work with, your peers and things like that. Like out of all those people, how many people are married? But I think the only thing that would kind of skew that is if you're married, typically you surround yourself with people that are married, or at least in pseudo marriages, right? But you get what I'm saying? Like, even though we're not married, we're still in a committed relationship, depending on what you would consider commitment, right? Full on commitment. I guess full on commitment would be marriage, right? But I'm not out here searching for other people, and I know you're not. So that's why I use the term pseudo marriage, because we're married, but we're married without papers, right? But because this is an issue, I think that if women did require more commitment without the nagging and without all the things that this is saying, without trying to force it down someone's throat, you almost don't have to force it down someone's throat when you make your prize, right, the goal.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I believe, and I could be wrong, that as a collective, which would be a hard thing to do because women are not a monolith and you all don't know one another. And it's not like you can pick up the phone and talk to people and say, hey, we all need to come together and we all need to,
close your legs, ladies.
Close your legs, ladies, because
I'm trying to lock down a husband.
Right. And I'm sure you are too. And if you just did this, then you will find yourself in a position where you will have more fruitful interactions with males, because you can't allow us males, to do whatever we want to do. If we had the option to have countless sex with multiple women without having to commit, without having to do anything, and it's, we live in a world where if we make a mistake, then it could be aborted and yada, 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 then it would be a free for all. Watch this. Look at, the homosexual population, right? The gay community, two guys. It looks fun as hell, right? If sex is your thing and you just want to be able to have an app where you could say, hey, I'm at the Walmart bathroom, I'm around the Walmart bathroom too, and we could just bang one out. Like that's what guys would do. But it works that way where it's two guys going pedal to the metal because it's two guys with the same sexual energy that can do whatever they want to do, and they do it, and that's how it looks. It looks like a party. It's great. So if you're into that lifestyle, then I'm sure that it's so fun. It's as fun as you want it to be.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But when you're talking about a heterosexual relationship, it doesn't look that way.
Yeah.
Now, if you're single and you're out there just trying to meet up with, people that are just as promiscuous as you are, then yeah, it can be fun, but it's limited to what the woman wants to do. And typically women don't have the same sex drive as males. And it just is what it is. It's not, there's no two ways about it. And I know there's going to be women out there that say, I have a sex drive. And it's like, no. You don't understand what the male sex drive actually looks like. And if you want to know, then there's a grinder. And if there is one for heterosexual relationships, I would love to see it where women out there are willing to meet. How poppin'
would it be really?
It would probably be one woman to 100 dudes, or
Right.
to one woman to 1,000 dudes
Right.
that would be willing to just get down, just because you're at AutoZone. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm close to buying tires too. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. So where I'm getting at is, if there was more commitment, if there was more push from not just that woman that's seeking, but just women in general, then I think that it would just slow us down.
Mm-hmm.
It'll slow us down, and it would make us value the commitment, or the idea of commitment, even more. I don't think it's going to necessarily change the hearts and minds of guys that are already okay with the idea of commitment, or are on board with commitment.
Mm-hmm.
But for the people that are on the fence, for the people out there that are playing the field for the sake of, I could do it, why not? What do you mean? I don't have to deal with downloading an app and answering dumbass questions. You see what I'm saying? Like if I don't have to do that, and I get to still, pipe you down, then I think that it might turn the hearts and minds of those guys and have them slow down, because we need that.
Yeah.
We're reckless. If you let us have our way, we'll do what we want. We're like children. If you let us pick eating pizza and cheeseburgers and, cotton candy for dinner, we will. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you give us ground rules and you slow us the fuck down, then
I just think it's where we are right now. And it's this wave that we have to ride. Because then you have to think about, like, women right now are free. We're the freest we've ever been, at least in where we live.
And I'm sure it's very exciting for you all.
Right. So it's just like, we're just going to do whatever the fuck we want to do, because this is the first time we've been able to do that. So until women get tired of it, however long and however many generations it's going to take, then I think this is where we're going to be. Because I think a lot of women, I guess maybe depending on age too, this is important. I don't know if so much for men, but for women, it would be like they don't care for commitment. They're not looking to settle down either.
Okay.
So clearly, if that's the problem, that
if it's an even scale, if it's an even scale or even number of, or close to even number of the amount of women that are single that don't want to be in committed relationships, as it is, like, truly don't want to be in committed, not just, I don't want to be committed, because no one wants to commit to you anyway. So it's easier to say you don't want to be committed. But how will we measure that anyway? Like, how do you measure how someone truly feels? But let's say we lived in a world where we can really get a truly understanding on how someone actually feels, a true understanding on how someone actually feels. Then if those numbers are even with males and females that are single, that actually want to be single, if that's even, then none of this matters anyway.
Right.
None of this matters.
But that's clearly not the case.
Right. But if there is a world where, which I think is real, where there are more women that are single that actually want to be in committed relationships versus guys, then yeah, there is a problem.
Yeah.
There is a problem.
Yeah.
And I believe that if that's the case, then that problem can be fixed with forcing more males to earn earn sex, earn attention, earn all these other things, and not be able to, throw money at it or flew someone out or, do whatever you need to do to get it.
Right.
Or not even that. I mean, I don't even think that's really necessary
No, I
nowadays.
don't.
It's just as easy as you just show someone some attention, you slide in their DMs, and boom, next thing you know, you could be in their home.
That all sounded very scary.
Yeah, but it doesn't take much.
Right.
It doesn't take much. So that's what I'm saying. Like the value
from DM to doorbell.
The value of pussy is lower than it's ever been. The lowest that it's ever been, I believe. But that value is based on you all. I mean, you all set the value. Sex happens at your pace.
Right.
In a healthy situation, we're not talking about, the R word, but in a healthy situation, sex happens at your pace. We're going to try to get it all the time. All the time.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning, we're gonna try to get it. We hold the door for you. We hope you turn around and be like, hey, you know what? Thank you.
You want some pussy?
Yeah. And we'd be like, yeah.
Actually,
Matter
that's
of fact,
why I'm
I was
here.
hoping for that.
Yeah.
We all hope for that, right? We deliver pizza at your door. We expect you to be like, hey, you want to come in for a slice and, some pussy? Yeah, of course. You see what I'm saying? Like, so if you allow that, then we're never going to, it's not to say that we're never going to commit, because there are men out there that commit. But if there is an imbalance in the numbers that I, try to illustrate earlier, then that's why. And it won't correct itself until the value of pussy goes up. So
fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I believe. But yes, for women, this is an exciting time. You're sexually liberated in this country.
Yeah, we have our own money. We have our own things. We can do whatever we want to do.
Right.
And,
But it comes at a cost.
It comes at a cost.
If you are interested in having a committed relationship.
Right.
Everything comes at a cost.
Exactly.
Everything comes at a cost. So there's that. But yeah, so I really didn't want to make this like me debating, or arguing with what someone said, because obviously they're not here, so it's not going to be a debate or an argument.
But again, I don't even think what she's saying is incorrect, which is not what you're saying either.
I don't think what she was saying is
You're just
incorrect.
bringing another. I don't know if perspective would be the right word, but it's just like another part of the puzzle.
And add a layer to it.
Yeah.
Right. And this is coming from a guy that was out in the dating world.
Right.
And a guy that had options. And it wasn't the hardest thing to do.
Right.
So going into a committed relationship was a choice. And a lot of it has to do with my personality. A lot of it has to do with just who I am and my values, because my parents are still married to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that make me, right? But I could see a world where if you're any other person that didn't hold the same values as I did, I could see a world where you look at a committed relationship and you go, why?
Yeah.
What? For what? I'm cool. I have everything that I need.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And I'm good to go. And then as soon as what you feel like you're not getting from one person, you could get somewhere else, then boom, on to the next one. On to the next one. Oh. What are your thoughts? Anything else?
No. I don't disagree. Well, I didn't disagree with what she said either. But I also think it has to do with like also the expectation of women and what we're looking for in a man in a relationship, and how that's also another problem. You know what I mean?
As far as what?
Like conversations that we've had about like what women now are bringing to the table, and then what we expect the man to bring to the table. So sometimes it's just expectations that are very unrealistic as well from women, from women, that also causes problem of like women not being able to find the perfect man because our expectations could be a little outlandish sometimes.
Are you speaking about like conversations that we've had about the high value male that people are looking for, almost like the Kevin Samuels, what he built, you know, his where he really got popular off of.
Yes,
was
that's what I was saying.
The idea of, which I mean, it isn't a bad thing to want and ask for. You know, I mean, why wouldn't you want the most out of what life has to offer?
Right.
But then the problem is okay, well, then you might be waiting forever, because at the end of the day, when it comes to commitment, even though I believe that you all can control that by upping the value of pay, right? But at the end of the day, it's still going to be us choosing to commit to you all.
Right.
But that's a part of the natural process of just how it works, right? And even though that's the case, and because that's the case is what I should be saying, because that's the case, a lot of times people are shown, women in particular, have been shown what your true value is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because what you think you deserve and what the world tells you deserve
could be two different things.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've known women that have slept with celebrities, right? Big time celebrities, you know, as far as what we would consider big time, right? And with that, they've walked around with the idea that, okay, well, I got to do that. I got to sleep with a millionaire. I deserve a millionaire because he fucked you. But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Now, if that same person was chosen by that said individual and was in a committed relationship with them, and they, you know, maybe let's say went as far as married them, right? Then now you could say that this is my level and up, if that makes sense.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But if you're just getting piped down, no. It doesn't work that way. Like you didn't.
It doesn't take much to be that anyway, I guess.
Right. That's easy. And it doesn't necessarily mean that now that's where you go. But I could see a world where you could get confused, and now this is where you think, okay, well, this is what I've done. So anything less than that is me not getting what I deserve because I feel like I deserve this. But things get off. I was listening to this podcast the other day, and this he's a celebrity, and he had an interesting take on it. And I guess this is something that only, you know, a celebrity can offer because they're in it, right? Yeah. And what he was describing is there was a time where when he had notoriety and his friends that didn't, they were on an even playing field as far as the amount of, you know, women that they could sleep with, right? And it just had to do with the playing field was even because celebrities at the time didn't necessarily have access to the regular woman, right?
The way they do now.
Mm-hmm. So the only way that they were sleeping with a lot of people, the celebrity, was you would meet a groupie, right? Mm-hmm. So someone would have to come to your event and pretty much throw themselves at you. And then now you're not going home that night lonely. Right. He was saying that where things flipped was when you had things called DMs, right? Yeah. And then now you can have a celebrity slide in your DMs based on just how you look, no matter where you are, no matter what you look at. You could be, boom. So then that opened up a world where it once took a bold, brazen woman to walk up to a celebrity and throw panties or, you know, do whatever, right? So now you had this person that pretty much had to out themselves as a quote unquote hoe, a groupie, where you had to out yourself, right? Now you don't have to out yourself. Now all you had to do was just sit back and
Yeah.
either slide in the DM discreetly, or they slide in your DMs and then you
Right.
respond to them discreetly, and now you're showing up. So where he was getting at is that it changed the playing field for the regular guy, because now you have this woman that then does that and now thinks that that's her status line, and then you put her back out into the real
she's
world,
not really fucking regular
and now
dudes.
she's not fucking regular dudes because
Yeah.
she thinks that she's above being regular because she's been touched by something greater than her, and greater than any other guy that she will now deal with. So then it made it harder for the regular guy to hook up with, or even just be with, a woman that feels like I'm just one DM away from
Yeah.
doing this,
Right.
because now I don't have to out myself and, do whatever I would need to do to make myself stand out, and not only stand out to them, but also stand out to the whole world that I'm DTF kind of thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then to circle back around to what, you were initially, or what you initially brought up, is that now that opens up the door to where more women think that they deserve the 6-figure guy,
Yeah.
no kids, good credit, good teeth,
Or even because that's where you are in life, right? So that's what you want in your partner.
and to be honest with you, I think that that's fair.
That's fair.
I think that
right.
that's fair.
Yeah, but I think both ways it's got to be hard. But men aren't expecting that of women, so that's not a problem for men, the way that it could be a problem for women.
Right. I think that that is fair, but that is not how we work biologically.
Yeah.
It's just not how we work biologically. Right. So you might be that 6-figure woman, but you're a 5 or a 6.
Right.
Or you're a 6-figure woman, but now you're doing this in your 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Late 30s,
because you've been
40s and 50s.
Becoming,
right.
All your energy has been focused on becoming the successful woman.
Right.
So now it's later in life for you.
And I get it. Rightfully so. Apples to apples. You do deserve that. You are in this class.
Yeah.
So you deserve this class of person. I can understand where that mindset can operate that way. Yeah. Right. But unfortunately, the way it's more than likely going to work is because he's a 6-figure male, then he's not going to go with your mid to late 30s, 40s, 5 or 6 out of 10. Because he's not looking
for a 6-figure woman.
No.
Yeah.
He's okay with the bartender.
Yeah.
That makes, $50,000, $60,000 a year in tips, or maybe even more, depending on, I'm not trying to play bartender. I don't know how much money they make, but I would imagine that a hardworking bartender can clean and clear some good money, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
But whatever. But just for the purposes of this discussion, let's say they just make, an average wage, right? Mm-hmm. But she's a dime.
Right.
And she's in her 20s. She's going to get chosen. And that's just how we operate on a biological level. And I know that we are trying to do this thing where we escape that, we run from that, and we even throw words out at it, against it, like toxic masculinity and all these other things and yada, yada, yada. But we're not beating biology. Not yet. Not yet. I think it's going to be years and years and years and years and years before things like that are bred out of us, right? Or even something as simple as the idea of a woman expressing her body count, quote unquote, and it being acceptable to males. Like, I think that on a biological level, we hear that and you think it's an ego thing that's stopping us from moving forward. But it's also like I don't want to deal with that because I want exclusivity, because I want to know that if I settle with this woman, then they're spitting out my baby, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's that biological attractiveness to someone that doesn't have a high body count or isn't displaying it and keeping it discreet. You see what I'm saying? And I say all that, and I know that's kind of a little bit different than where we were getting at, but where I was getting at is, there are things that we do as human beings, and I don't think it always has to do with society. I think society does play a role, but I think some of our knee-jerk reactions to things are just who we are.
Like innate things.
Innately.
Yeah.
Right? Because even then, and we've talked about this in other episodes, even this whole, revolution that American women are going through, right? And I say that because I don't want to say women of 2023 because it's exclusive.
Depending where you are in the world, yeah.
Right. This is us and
different.
other first world countries, right? But I would say, and I'm just being ignorant when I say this, I would say that we are leading the charge in sexual freedom in all aspects, whatever it looks like, right? To include women.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is something that is new, it's gonna, if we continue on this road, which would be nice to continue on this road, and I'm just trying to say this from a progressive mind state, it is going to take generations to reboot the way we think about that, and when that reboot happens, then I think it would create a space where there could be a world where you can be a woman that makes six figures and find yourself that six-figure male. You see what I'm saying? Or you could be a woman and be
or like
surrounded.
that's gonna matter to men.
Maybe, possibly. I'm speaking of a hypothetical.
Yeah, right.
But what I'm saying is that if we're going to get to that road, it's going to take generations of reprogramming in order to breed whatever is in us.
That might be
out of
happening
us.
currently, because I saw something on Matt Walsh's page, and it was a stay-at-home husband and what his day looks like as his. So maybe we're on our way there, where a man might matter how much a woman makes because he wants to stay at home, and that's
yeah.
It was pretty wild. And it's like, I don't know any woman that, yes, the idea of your man cooking and cleaning and all this to a certain degree sounds nice, but a stay-at-home husband, like, that sounds crazy to me. That I'm working and you're home doing the dishes. Like, I'm not gonna want to fuck you when I get home. Like, that's just me.
That's
and
you.
I would assume that's a lot of women. Like, again, maybe the fantasy of it, but the reality of that, you're not going to respect him.
Well, and that was the argument that I was making a second ago, is even if society tells you that's okay and that's normal and there is no shame in it and yada, 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 I believe that there's something embedded in our biology that you still want to see your man go out and
be
hunt
a provider
and take down. I know we're not taking down animals anymore and bringing it
but
in
what that
and,
looks
and
like
using
today.
it as pelt and food and yada, yada, yada. But what does that look like today? Today, that looks like your man going out there making an income where he could support everyone in the house.
Yeah.
Right. And doing that. Like, I think that there's going to be something in that is always going to be attractive to a woman, because whatever society says biologically is something completely different.
Right. And it might take her having a stay-at-home husband to be like, you know what? I thought I would want this, but something is off here.
Something's off here. Yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It might take having to have that experience for women today who evidently they're stay-at-home husbands. That's a thing.
Right. Now, because people are people and there's a wide spectrum of people and how they operate, you are going to have those outliers, those anomalies that would be into that. And then if you have that guy that's into being that and playing that role, and then you have that woman that's into that and playing that role, and then those people will work well with one another. But I think
Right. That's not a normal thing. Yeah.
in general, and again, I could be wrong, and I could be a fucking caveman and not understanding how people work because I don't have a degree in this or anything like that. But I do believe that even if society becomes open to that, just like a lot of other ideas,
Yeah.
I think that there is something inside of us that will always say otherwise, and there are going to be a lot of people that will default back to
I agree.
who you are on a primal level. And it might rear its head, not necessarily in infidelity or, you know, maybe relationships failing, but it would certainly rear its head in just the instability of what a relationship will look like.
Yeah. And a
Because
household.
it's going to cause problems,
Mm-hmm.
or it can cause problems. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that would look
Yeah.
like, but it's the same thing. Back to the statement that I was making before is, you know, about the whole body count or the sexual liberation, right? If you have a woman that appears to be very promiscuous, that is a turnoff to a lot of males.
As far as committing goes.
As far as committing to them, having fun with them is one thing,
Yeah.
but as far as committing to that, that because you don't want to be that guy, you know. And I think it has less to do with an ego thing and just more to do with that's a part of who we are. And I think we function that way for a long period of time, not because we were wrong as far as what we were doing necessarily is wrong, but we function that way because that's just not appealing to us, if that makes sense. So again, I don't know shit. And this is the podcast where we saying shit, but we ain't saying shit. But it's an interesting thing. It's really interesting watching all this unfold so fast.
Mm-hmm.
So fast.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we can remember a lifetime where, you know, things weren't really as readily available as they are today.
Right.
You know, where if you did want to interact with someone of the opposite sex, you had to actually go outside and interact with them.
Right.
Or watch this, even in something like porn, you know, because someone, oh, porn, da, da, da. Yeah, but there was a time where you had to go out and get a tape.
Remember those special rooms?
Yeah, with the beads.
Video stores.
Yeah. You had to walk through them.
Yeah.
So even
that wasn't that long ago.
Even that took like some sort of shamelessness.
Yeah.
To walk into a Blockbuster or a Hollywood video
and go into the back room.
Right. And peruse through that.
Yeah.
Grab yourself.
And people would look at you and think something of that person who would actually be going back there. Yeah.
Of course. But now no one has to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know? And so it just makes things a lot easier. You don't have to leave the home. You could just go on OnlyFans and interact with someone. And they'll tell you that they like you and care about you or whatever they need to do to make sure they can squeeze some money out of you. And you don't care whether it's real or fake.
Yeah.
You just want that interaction in that moment. And there's that. But any last thoughts before we get out of here? No?
I don't think so.
All right, people. Hope we didn't bore you with that.
No pressure, women.
I know, and it sucks. It sucks to get on a platform and like, oh, it's women's fault, and it all has to do with them, and yada yada yada. But I don't know, and I only put not the blame, but not all the blame, because obviously males were just immature and we're fucking idiots. But I put more of the blame on you all, because you all should know that we're idiots and we need to be tamed.
If that's, and we're also the ones that want the commitment at the end of the day. So we have to figure out why we're not getting it. And if what you're saying is part of that puzzle, then it's some evaluation on the woman's part.
And I truly believe that your value is so much higher than our value. You see what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like, even on a biological level, right? Your eggs are more valuable than my sperm.
Right.
My sperm, millions, billions on a daily basis. Boom.
Yeah.
Can come and go. Yours is finite. It's limited. Right. So the value of that, even on a biological level, is a lot higher than what I have to offer. Right. So I only put the responsibility or more of the responsibility on ladies because the value of you all is a lot higher than the value of us. We're highly expendable.
Yeah.
And you all are not. And all of or most of the responsibility is bared on you all with anything, right?
True.
Even when it comes to childbearing. I mean, that's on you for the most part.
Yeah.
There is no out like
Right.
it is for
a
us.
man potentially. Yeah.
So that's why I could say with confidence that, you know, ladies. Not because I think less of you all, or I'm pointing a finger and saying it's all your fault and I'm blaming you. Not because of that.
I don't think
but
that,
because I think highly, or I think higher of women when it comes to how relationships are not necessarily managed, because I think once in a relationship, I think that the power plays a little bit different, but just what is allowed to take place before commitment or everything that leads up to that. I think that is more so on you all.
I agree.
But I could be wrong. What do I know? I don't know shit from shit. I'm just a nigga from Cleveland. But there you have it, folks. This has been another episode of the Feelings First, Facts Later podcast. We thank you for listening. Thank you for rocking with us. And we thank you for being patient with us. Patience. Peace.
Bye.